Really? Now it's live? Okay, let me check. Can you count down for us? Cannot. Okay, thank you for that. So, oh, still offline. Now it's on. Yay!
Just send you the link in the chat room.
Yeah, now it's live, but there's no.
You can go in. You can go on.
Yeah, now it's live, but yay!
Ah,
And now it's on. So we're having 20 seconds lag between our real-time conversation and the YouTube, but it's okay. So I will just say hello to anyone that joined. Thank you for the time. Thank you Sanchai and Kong from Thai Film Archive. And thank you for the idea because this is actually my first hosting a discussion online. And also my first time putting on lipstick for the past 3 months. So for those who watch, thank you. You're actually watching a talk about Santifina. It will be like a 90 minutes talk. And Santifina, if you have not watched it, or if you have already, but if you have not, I hope once after the talk finish, you will be curious to watch Santifina. I'm here. My name is Chika, and I'm a program director of Minikino, taking care of bioskopan programming, and also uh, just recently, last year, found an art house cinema. It's a nice way to bring a lot of good films for Bali audience. And I hope people that watch tonight is our cinephiles that come regularly to our art house cinema, Mes dan Pasar, and also some cinephiles from around Indonesia. And tonight, I'm joined by Sanchai Chotiro Serane and Kong Reddy. So I'm going to pass on the time for you, Sanchai. Introduce yourself.
hi everybody. I'm Sanchai Chitrasilini from Thai Film Archive. And thank you, Shika, Edo, and Minikino to organize this. It's our first time as well to organize a talk like this. I'm really glad that Shika happily accept our challenge together. I'm glad that I thought it's a bit tough for all of us nowadays during this period, but yeah, this is uh, the way that the cinephile doing. You cannot go to theater, so you need to find some way to watch film, and we need to find some way to talk and things like that. So this is my experiment, and I hope they're going to be well.
Thank you, Sanchai. Would you like to also give us a bit about your involvement in Santifina?
Okay, so I will share you the
No, no, not yet the presentation. Just
presentation.
what role do you play in this film preservation and journey?
Okay. Because I'm work at the Thai Film Archive, and I'm the one who discovered this film print with a lot of help. It's not only my achievement, but also archive, not only Thai Film Archive, but archive around the world achievement to find this film, because this film that was considered lost for almost 60 years, and it's very important film. So I'm just the middle person between a lot of people, between a lot of information sources, a lot of organization around us. So I'm the middle person and put it together and become this film. And also I also in charge of restoration. It's a big restoration project for the Thai Film Archive. So this is really big achievement. And in the end, we got invited to show the film in Cannes Classic. That also a big achievement for the Thai Film Archive because it's the first Thai film that got screened in the Cannes Classic category. This is really honor for us because think back of 60 years ago, the filmmaker Lapes Tenyi and Robert G. Nott and Marut, the director, they all want to standardize Thai film industry, and they all aim to promote Thai film and Thai culture through the film festival. So they send the film to Tokyo, to Asian Film Festival in Tokyo. So back here 60 years later, when we found the film, we found the film, we restore it, and it's become like a big achievement for us to bring it international again. And the film now show around the world, everywhere. So I'm really glad that today that we can show in online this uh, circumstances, and we have a talk in Bali now. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanchai. Now, before we get to your presentation, actually, I would like to pass on to Kong. Kong also with Thai Film Archive. You're one of the deputy,
Yes.
and please do introduce yourself.
Yes. Well, I will be very brief so Sanchai can start his presentation. Of course, my name is Kong Ritti. I've been involved with the film archive for many years, but officially I became deputy director working with Sanchai since last year, January last year. But before that, I've been involved with the archive in many official and unofficial roles since the beginning, like 15 years ago. And before I joined the archive, I was working as a writer, film and culture writer at the Bangkok Post, the English language paper in Thailand. And I've been with the paper. I was with the paper for a long time, almost 25 years. But then I left, and then I became officially part of the film archive last year. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm happy to talk about the film, but I'm sure Sanchai has more to discuss. But I'm happy to contribute my observation, and we answer your questions if there's any at the end.
Yeah, Gong also with us when we got world premiere in Cannes Classic,
yes.
and he also the person that we asked him at the time to do the brief introduction before the film screening. So and yeah, it's like the Thai team actually to put the film in international level again.
That's nice. So world premiere is in 2016, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
about
nice.
that time.
Congratulations
Yes,
for that.
this month in May 2016 in Cannes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So exactly 4 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so for those that join, you are actually going to see the structure of this talk will be around 10 to 15 minutes. Sanchai is going to present about the journey of Santifina because I actually listened to the presentation before and was really interesting because it has some mystery in it. It has, it's like a detective story and it's really romantic, in a way, after 60 years. It's just like you have to listen to his presentation. It's really awesome. And then for another 10 minutes, we're going to actually hear why Santifina is an interesting restoration project because Kong is going to discuss about it more in the cinematography side. And then afterwards, we're gonna start the discussion. And you are actually, for the audience, you can actually just shoot your questions, type through YouTube Live, and Anga and Ines say hi. And yeah, you're gonna see that kind of thing a lot, maybe. So now it's your turn, Sanchai. Amuse us.
Yeah, thank you, Shika. Let me share the screen first. Yeah, is it okay? Okay.
Oh, now I can
So
see your good evening,
you,
ladies and gentlemen.
oh, you can see that? No, it's not supposed to see that. How? Ooh.
So hide that one first.
Oh, that. I'm scary.
Don't worry. So yeah,
Okay.
this is awkward.
Let me stop that. Okay.
No,
Let
it's
me.
okay. Edo already hide it. Sanjay? Sanjay
You
can try again.
you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will try it again. It's gonna be the same. I don't know why. That time is not. Is it on?
No. Yeah.
Yeah or no?
Oh, okay. So don't worry. Sanjay, we actually already put up the wallpaper first while you try to figure out how to hide this.
No, but in the screen you saw my script, right? So it just
Yeah, I
so
do
it's
see
gonna
your
close
script.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
You need.
okay. It's okay. I'm gonna close it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bit messy with my language.
But
It should
before
be
it
okay.
was fine.
Okay. Here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, oh, now you see my face. So, okay. Just please be patient with us. We're trying to figure out how to not see the text of Sanjay's speech.
No. I okay. Let me go just normal way then. Okay.
Yeah, so
Now I'm
now you can try again. Yeah, we already hide it. Yeah, let's just give it a try again. And while you try that, I'm going to
here.
now this is yeah.
Yeah.
Now this one works. Okay. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. -1, -2, -3. Yeah, because it's 20-second lag. So okay.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's on. Yeah, keep
Okay.
going. It's okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Shika, again to invite me to do presentation about finding Santivina. As I said in introduction, this is very a big achievement for my life, and not only my life, but also the archive, archivist, and the staff at the film archive. Santivina is a big name for the film lover, Thai film lover, especially the one who interested in the history, because this film that the first film that win international award in the Asian Film Festival in Tokyo in 1954. It's won 3 awards. One best scenography, it's one best art direction, and also the special award for the film that promote the Asian culture value to the West. So we know the film for a long time, but we never had a chance to see the film. Uh, yeah, because the film got lost during the transport back to England. I mean, this is quite tragedy story. The man that you see in the picture, his name is R.D. Bestenyi. He is the scenographer and he also the producer, but he not put his name in uncredited producer. At that time, when he decided to make this film with Robert G. Nott, the American guy, and also the scriptwriter, they want to promote the Thai film industry and up level of Thai film cinema. So they plan to send the film to show in the film festival, and they want to show that the Thai film is can be standardized, can be internationalized as well. So they do the lab post production in Tokyo, and then when they got the award, everything they send the print back to Thailand. The Thai custom in Thailand charge them the money and huge money. So Kunlat decided that to not send the film in the print in Thailand, but send to England to keep it there. But what happened is during the shipping back to England, the film got disappeared. They said that it's destroyed by the sea, by the wind, and things like that. That the story that the son of Pestenji said in his memorable book and for his funeral. So the film not only got award, but also the first Thai film that shot in 35 millimeter in color for the whole film. I don't know that you familiar with the name with the Indonesian film After the Curfew. Did you know that? I think people who love the old film may know that After the Curfew is the same year with Santi Vina actually, and it's supposed to be in the Tokyo Film Festival, in the Asian Film Festival in Tokyo as well, to compare to each other, but the Indonesian government banned it. So that, but
Really?
if they're not banned it, so the film, these two films, Santivina and After the Curfew, might go compare to each other in that year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I just said After the
Indonesian
Curfew
band.
because I would like to say that this may be why the reason why the film got Best Cinematography Award, because it is the first ASEAN film that
Yeah.
shot in color and 35 millimeters. So
Hmm.
this is very important and quite big achievement for the Thai film industry, and not only Thai film but also Asian film industry. Yeah, it's lost for almost 60 years. The film got shown in Thailand, of course, after the got award, but only the some release print and 60 millimeter prints from the oral history that we interview. They show the film around, especially the temple fair, because the film is about the Buddhists and things like that. And many women who was born after the film got called Veena. So Veena is quite famous name at that time. And when I ask, when you ask why you name Veena, people say, "Oh, follow because of the film." So this is quite the tiny bit that we discover after we release the film. When we decide to release the film again in Thailand, 4 years ago, we also had a campaign that finding Santi Veena, the people who call Santi, if they come with the people who call Veena, they will got a ticket for free. So this is kind of gimmick, but we know that because Veena is a famous name because of the film. So where the film, according to the research, we found that the film was shown in China and last year, uh, later of the year. So we got this clue from the Chinese researcher who went to Thailand to the film archive and do the research. And we also asked them, like, oh, we know that the film shown in China, please you check around. And then she found the film catalog of the one festival in Shanghai, and then they sent to us. And also the last year they got the news that the film was shown in Russia and it got crowded in Russia. So this is very interesting that the film was shown into these two countries. So the first hope that come from this guy, Alongkot Maidong. He's a Thai film critic. He sent the email to the Thai Film Archive that he found out that the British Film Institute held Santivina original sound negative and author materials. So it's just coincidence. He's a Thai film critic, but he is a PhD student in biology science thing. And he went to the BFI and would like to see the Thai film collection there. So he asked the librarian there that, oh, could you please check that which film that you have? So the librarian sent the list to him, and in the list they have the Santi Vina original sound negative. So he forwarded that information to the Thai Film Archive. That's at the time it's me who got the email. So but it's no original camera negative. So where is the release pin? Because we found the sound negative. So we thought, oh, let's go to find the release pin. Because if we find the release pin, so we can match with the sound negative in British, in England, then we can restore the film. So that's starting point to me to go to Russia and also to connect with the people in China that, oh, could you please check in your archive that you have the Santi Vina print or not? And yeah, we found the print file in Godfilm font in the Russian Film Archive. And this is the picture from the film that they hold. Then you can see the color is a bit like very faded, very violet here. And also we found in China. This is the print that we found in China Film Archive that also color faded and also have the subtitle burned in the print. So this is very difficult in case of restoration because you have to erase the subtitle letter by letter and by hand. So in the end, we decided, okay, then we go to the print that we found in Russia and we use the sound from England. So this is quite a good plan for us. But before we doing the restoration, I send the email to the BFI and say that, okay, I would like to, this is our plan to do restoration. I would like to check, but before that, I would like to check the quality of the print. Is it still okay or not? So the staff in BFI very nicely, she sent us she sent me the list of all the material that BFI collection hold. So this is in the screen that you can see. This is the list that they sent to us. She sent to us. So they said, oh, okay, you have color negative mix X 150 feet. You have the master positive sound, you have nitrate sound, you have negative nitrate sound, you have nitrate sound, that kind of thing. But because I love to I love to read the detective story. You know that the detective cartoon Conan or something like that. So I spot something missing from the information that I got from BFI, and I feel like, I think there's something weird about this. So if you notice in your screen, you not you see the calling number item C1483735. You can see that in the first material, right? And then they have 731, the second material, and then they have 730, third material, and then they have 732 in fourth material, and then they have 733 in the last material that they have. So I'm curious, what is 734? So this is my curious, and then I decide to use their program, which is very good database uh, system, and put the number C1483734 in that searching tab. And then I found the master original color negative camera in that British Film Institute collection. Yeah, so people may curious, oh, and what happened? Why it's like this? If you notice the spelling of the name, Santi Vina, Santi Vina, Vina. But if you go back to the first list that they sent to us, Vena. So this is the missing thing happen all the time in archive, that you misspelling because it's a foreign word you're not familiar with. So you can use VNR Vina, or you can with VINA Vina. It's the same. So yeah, lucky me at that night, I'm crying a lot because it's like, wow, finally we found the film, we found the sound, we found the color negative in BFI. So that the starting point of the restoration. So this is the print that we asked for the BFI to send to Bologna. We decide to use Imagine Little Vata, the same place that restore Tika Dara and also After the Curfew, that we want to ask them to restore the film. And yeah, we send the film to them, and it took about 3,000 hours to restoration. Yeah, quite a long period of restoration, and they have a lot of things that we need to decide about the color, about the, because it's the first Thai color film, so we need to find the reference to compare with, and also there are some clash, some at that time they use a night scene, that kind of thing, that the technique that they use, like a particle technique, thing like that. So we have to go on this process and how we gonna collect it like original as much as possible, and that the process is, yeah, that's it, the presentation for Finding Santivina.
Well, thank you, Sanjay, for the presentation. And we've got actually some audience, like some participants in the live chat, and one of them was saying, Olivia Griselda was saying that she watched the film and she was amazed how rich the colors of the film in the restored version. And when you do the presentation at the last year festival, I have not watched the film, but when I did already,
Yeah.
I noticed it's really, really, yeah, like Olivia says, such a rich color, and it's really, really nice actually. So yeah,
Yeah,
would you like to
and
add something about it, or Kong is going to fill us in about it?
I think color is very important, and especially if you see Kullat Pestanji, his later work, that they are very colorful, and he really have a good sense of color. So yeah, when we restore the film, we need to find reference, and it's really difficult because it's the first Thai color film. So we have to think about that. Oh, what is the color going to be look like at that time? When we interview the people who used to see the film before, but in television, I think that they just, oh, I remember the color. The color is so beautiful. The color is so beautiful, especially the scene that the couple sit by the river and sing the song, and they
Yeah.
said that scene is so beautiful. So yeah, I mean, the people remember the color, the rich color of the film.
Yeah, yeah. So how about we go to Kong's first, especially about cinematography of the film, and how Santifina unique. I mean, of course, hearing about the journey, it is unique, and it's really good eye, Sanchai, on finding the double E and the I.
Yes.
But Kong, I'm sure you have another
Yeah.
different perspective to share about the film, please.
Of course, I will add something on what Sanjay has already said. I think the important thing is we have to look at Santivina in the context of Thai cinema in the 1950s, because the film came out in 1954, right? So that was the post World War II period of Thai cinema, and most Thai films then were shot on 16 millimeter with no sound, meaning that all the films made during those days required live dubbing at every screening. So you need like people who speak for the characters at every screening. And most of the films in that period are made for mass entertainment. And if you look at some of them that we have in our collection, which is not much, not many of them remain, the production quality, I mean the cinematography or the editing or the craftsmanship, are not really at the same level as Santi Vina. I think that's we have to admit that. So as Sanjay has said, Santi Vina is the first Thai color and sound film shot on 35, and that in itself is already a stark contrast to the bulk of the films in the same period in terms of technical achievement. So Kunrat Pestanji, or R.D. Pestanji, he was first and foremost a cinematographer. He ran a studio called Hanuman Studio, which produced this film. But if you look at the films he directed or the films that he shot, actually Santivina, he was credited as cinematographer, right? And directed by credit. goes to Kru Marut, who's a famous film and theater director during the post-war years. So actually, Kun Rat Pestanji or R.D. Pestanji was cinematographer, was first and foremost, like I said, a cinematographer. And of course, his strong point is the visual. He's got the eyes of a cinematographer or of a photographer. So the visual in all of the films he made are very, very strong, very outstanding. For me, in Santi Veena, there's what shows the brilliance of Adi Pestanji was, for me, the cave scene, all the scenes shot in the cave, because they actually shot in the cave in Phetchaburi. I think Phetchaburi province is a famous cave. I think it's called Tham Luang, is it
Phetchaburi
Tham Luang
province
Cave
is
or
in the
Khao
north.
Luang?
Phetchaburi
No, Phetchaburi
or south.
is the south, on the way to the south, and there's a famous cave there. So you can tell that every scene shot in the cave. I mean, in every film, you have to know how to light it. You have to know how to put your camera, because it's a cramped space, it's a small space, right? And for a film from 60 years ago to be able to present scenes in a cave as spectacularly as Santi Veena, that's an achievement in itself. And also another scene for me, now this is my personal favorite, is a scene when the two lovers, when they ran away and they found themselves in the field, with a tree. That is, very masterful lighting and composition, and the way he selects the shot, wide shot and close shot, and the editing, that's very, very ahead of its time, I think. You see that scene, you watch that scene, and you think of European or American films of the same period, and that is something we rarely see in Thai films of that period. And I think that scene, well, many scenes in the film actually. Some people gave the example of the scene when Santi was ordained as a monk, or the confrontation at the end, the rock, the collapse when the rock comes down in the cave at the end. So many scenes are very meticulous in the way it was lit, the way it was lit and composed. And I think it's Rat Pesanji's eye that gives the film the tragic power. Okay, I mentioned Marut or Tawina Bangchang. He's the director of the film, well-known film and theater director. But if you notice the credit at the beginning, the story was written by Robert G. North.
Yeah.
So it's an American man writing a very, very Thai film, a very, very Thai story. So Robert G. North was an American producer, and I think he worked with R.D. Pestanji, and I think he was part of the Hanuman studio of R.D. Pestanji as well. Well, there's a story that some people suspect that he was maybe a CIA agent, because that was a period of the Cold War, and you have, a lot of American operatives, in Southeast Asia, and maybe this is one of the theories that maybe Robert G. North was connected somehow with the CIA. So what's interesting for me in that sense is that, and this is an issue that some people have already raised. If you look at the film, you will see that it's a tragic love story, it's a melodrama, right? But the dominant power in the narrative, when I look at the film, I notice this immediately, that the dominant power, the force that nurtures Santi, and the force that later redeems him, is Buddhism. So, because Santi was raised by a monk. Well, I hope I'm not spoiling the film if you haven't seen it, but well, there's nothing to spoil actually. He was raised by a monk, and he was taught everything by the monk, the abbot who who lives in it's like a cave, a monastery in a cave, right? And after the tragedy that happened to him, he decides to become a monk. So Buddhism is the redeeming power in the life that has been ruined by love and desire and whatever. So it's interesting for me that the story was credited to be written by this American man who, but the story is very, very, very Thai in the belief in the power of Buddhism that the characters rely on. So I think Robert G. North must have worked with Thai writers, maybe Tavina Bangchang, the director, or Adi Pestanji to come up with the story. I saw the original script also provided to me by the film archive, because I did the subtitles for the film when it was screened in Cannes, and I looked at the original script written in English, and well, it was old style English, and when it appears on the screen, it doesn't really work, because sometimes it's very long, or sometimes it is written as a script. So I have to work on that a lot. But at least when I see the original story, I can tell that the writer has a deep understanding of Buddhism, and how Thai people look up to monks, and how the monks are in every village in Thailand. Even today, monks are looked up to as the authority, the spiritual and moral authority. So that's pretty much it. And again, when this is also what interests me, when the film was restored and released in Thailand 4 years ago, or if you go to the YouTube comment, when we put the film on YouTube, if you go to the comment, well, it's mostly written in Thai, of course, you see that a lot of modern Thai audience who have seen the film, they said, oh, they enjoy it because the film gives them a nostalgic feeling. They see the Thai life of 60 years ago, they see the scenery, they see the kind of village that existed in the past 60 years ago. Right? Okay, never mind that there's a lot of bad things happening to Santi Irina in the story, but we focus on the beautiful things. But in 1954, when the film was released, and I talked to one of the researchers at the archive, Kun Putipong, and he told me that some of the reviews written at that time were quite negative. Some people said Santi Vina was made for foreigners, for foreign viewers. And because it's a showcase of beautiful Thai scenery, and you have a long scene of this ceremony, the Loi Krathong, when people float baskets in the river. And it was shot very, very beautifully, and with people singing. So some people say, oh, this is a setup, this is a showcase, a deliberate showcase of the beautiful, of the what did you call the utopian Thai life, how everything is so beautiful and nice and people are happy, and it doesn't really represent real Thai people. So that's the comments that came out during those days. So it's interesting to compare the reaction of the audience from the two periods, when the film first came out and now when Sanchai discovered the film and we released it, and we can see how one film can have different interpretations or engage the audience in different ways, given the changing social context of different eras. So, and because Santi Vina, I think, is the most important Thai film to be restored and re-released. So this is what we can see, the difference in the reaction and the way the audience is engaged with the film. We can see the example in Santi Vina, and hopefully when we release more films, more old film, more vintage classic Thai film, we will see more of this. We can look into this phenomenon deeper. I think that's it.
Well, thank you, Kong. Now I'm curious. Actually, how many classic, like when we say classic, what's your definition of classic? Is it like below 1960s, or what's the duration of classic? You think, or classic is in the point of the making, or do you have like a time limit of when you call Thai film
I don't
classic?
know if we can I don't know if we can put a specific time frame in order for a film to be classified as a classic,
Yeah.
because we joke about this a lot at the archive. If you ask like someone of 20 or 25 years old, if you ask them, okay, name one classic film, they say Batman, The Dark Knight. For them, that's a classic film,
Yeah.
right? But for us, it has to be like, okay, something from the mid-century, 1950s, 60s,
So
Citizen Kane, Godfather, or whatever. So I think this is interesting because it depends on who you ask, and it depends on how a film age, or how a film is regarded by different generations of viewers. And I think this is what I'm interested in, and I think this is the mission of the archive everywhere, and Thai Film Archive as well, to expose the new generation of audience to older films, classic films, to appreciate not only the film itself, but also the cultural and social context that come with the film. I don't know if Sanchai has the answer for the classic time
No,
frame.
no, no. I just think like, same as Gong, that it depends on generation. And yes, I agree that because for my generation, it thought like it's classic, you mean like 50s, 60s or 80 for me. It's like, oh, it's not classic yet, 80, yeah, no. But yeah, because we have the classic film screening once per month, special screening at Scala.
mhm.
So, and we ask the audience to feel like, oh, you have any like comment titles that we can show? And there's some young people always name the movie like 90s movie, it's like, oh, this is classic. No, not yet, and also one boy, I have to say, he said, Batman Dark Knight. I said, oh, no, 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 that's too new for me. So it's kind of like something that I think is a generation clash that we cannot decide what is classic or not. But yeah, for Hollywood standard, I think we know that Hollywood standard classic thing like this, but yeah, everything changing, uh, decade to decade, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, speaking about classic, there's interesting question here from the audience of tonight live talks. What's the film influence? I think she's referring to Santifina, but I might want to wider the question into a Thai film classics. But first start with Santifina. What's Santifina influence on contemporary Thai films? And second question is, how did the success of the film Santifina, even though they got like not really positive review in 1950s, but it was successful at least at 2016. How did the success of the film influence the Thai film industry back then, 1950s, and in 2016?
Yeah, I can answer the question about the influence for that time first because the film was disappear after that. So it's quite lost for the Thai film industry. But the R.D. Pestenyi had a big influence for the Thai filmmaker, the cinematographer, because the work after that, he made about another 6 film, Country Hotel, Black Silk, uh, Dark
Dark
Heaven,
Heaven.
and also Sugar Not Sweet. They are not a big successful in commercial way because they are quite specific genre of film. But his style, his creativity got big influence for Visit Sasanatiam, who later on he made a film, The Tear of Black Tiger, which is the first Thai film that got selected to show in Cannes, Ansatang Lerka. Cannes Film Festival. And Visit Satyang always said that he got big influence by R.D. Pestanji. And also in the film Country Hotel, which is have the only 2 scenes, and it's very long film. It's a 3.5 hours, thing like that. That we're gonna show with Shika again later. That we gonna promote that. This film is very interesting because it's almost 3 hours, but only have two scene. But it's really clever in dialogue thing. So เป็นเอกรัตนเรือง the new Thai cinema director who very like now they very famous for international thing. They all got influenced by that and they all love that film. So I think last person we have big influence for the young filmmaker, not young anymore. Right now they have become like classic filmmaker for young generation like พระวิสิตสนเที่ยง and เป็นเอกรัตนเรือง yeah about Kumarut the director, he big name at that time. Actually he also make the first Thai film. He make a lot of Thai film that got very popular in 16 millimeters. So his signature is like melodrama, the strong leading lady, that kind of thing, and it's quite a big successful in that genre for him. And he, because the film got lost for 60 years, so he also remake Santi Vina later on in 1970s, but the version is not successful like in the past. So yeah, that the story about influence. Yeah.
And Kong, would you like to add something about the influence of Santifina on do you find any on contemporary Thai films? I mean, you're being film critic and seeing
I
this.
think when the as I said before, that Santimina was shot in 35, when most of the Thai films, or virtually all of the Thai films at that time, were shot on 16. And it would continue to be like that. Thai cinema would remain in the period of 16 millimeter until early 1970s. So yeah, in terms of technical achievement, I think Kun Rat is really way ahead of his time. Because it took other Thai filmmakers another 20 years to start
To understand.
to see that, okay, we should do 35 and stop it. But for contemporary Thai filmmakers, this is interesting because I believe that Thai films have up and down. The Thai film history have up and down over the past 50, 60 years. And only in the late 1990s, when we have a new crop of filmmakers whose names are known today, like Nonsi, Pen Ek, Apichat Pong. I think these filmmakers who rose to the front in the late 90s, they are, it's like a Renaissance period when they go back to look at the old vintage classic Thai film and influenced by them, or at least they are aware of the roots of Thai cinema and how Thai directors in the past use cinema to express themselves. For example, like Sanchai mentioned Pen Ek and Visit, and of course, because they said all the time that, especially Visit, who became famous from Tears of the Black Tiger, he said all the time that Prat Pesanyi was his major influence. But if you look at, let's say, like Apichat Pong, he loves old Thai films, and again, because he said, because he loves the sincerity, he loves the innocence, he loves the way everything has no pretension at all. But if you look at the Apichat Pong's film, people will say, oh, it's very formal. It involves a lot of artistic thinking, but at the same time, Apichat Pong is very sincere, very innocent, very free of artifice, the artifice that you see in normal films. So I think again, this batch of filmmakers who came up in the late 90s are the Renaissance generation that go back to look at classic Thai film and drew something out of it, drew something out of the Thai cinema heritage that the filmmakers in the in-between period, like 70s or 80s, may overlook. That's my reading of how the two periods are connected. I mean, contemporary Thai film and the 50s or
Yeah.
60s Thai film.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, you want to add something, Sanjay?
Yeah, I wanted to add something that about the woman in the film.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because we got a feedback from the new audience, when we release it again, and people quite, wow, why the Veena character is so strong, and she really, sexually, such
She knows what
active.
she wants, man.
I mean, people quite surprised, and we all love her character because
Yeah.
when we think about Thai women, we thought about this gentle and you really, really behave. But look at back in that time, 60 year that year. I mean, she very strong and she said what she want. And if you listen it in Thai, it's so funny. So when we first premiere in Thailand, people laughing a lot because of we not expected to hear that word from the leading lady that you're gonna be my husband or things like that. So wow. But this is very interesting because it's kind of like, yeah, when we think about the good old day, you just got the image of like everything like in discipline or thing like that with a very beautiful scenery. But actually it's not. Women have their own agency. She had their own idea. She had their own thought. And they have also one critic who wrote about the ending of the film that look at her eyes. What she think about that? I mean, she not give up her love yet or something like that. Even she, yeah, in the end, she had to give up physically, but in her mind, what her thought about in that eye side when she look at Santi again. So it is very interesting to interpret of the womanhood of the Thai cinema. And yeah, I think that very challenging for the new generation to release the film and interpret of the woman representation in the film.
So Sanjay, I think you're a mind reader. It was on my list of questions about the Vina character. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she is a very outspoken and a very sexy lady. I mean, like I'm like very impressed with the character and with the casting. Was like really wow. I was actually trying to find out more about her. Like the actress, and maybe it's my Thai language. I cannot find any. Like I tried to find her again, like in which films she play again and what kind of role does she play. But yeah, I was also curious about the character. You say it's uncommon, I guess. And is it because the writer is Robert G. North? You think it's like very
No,
American, no?
no, I don't think of I don't think about uncommon, but I think maybe it's common in that period because not only Robert G. Not influence, but R.D. Pesenji, woman in R.D. Pesenji film is very strong character. The film later on, Country Hotel, the woman is very strong character as well. She like had her own agency and she also outspoken. Backfield is very, very strong. I mean, she a leading lady and things like that. And Sugar Not Sweet is also backlash of the masculinity macho thing image of Thai man. So I think R.D. Presently quite advanced in woman sexuality, uh, no, you have to gender representation in his film. Yeah, about the actress who played Veena. This is her first feature film, her first role. She actually is secretary of the R.D. Pesenji actually. But yeah, she not have many film later after that. Yeah, but she very stunning. I think she the half Thai and some, I don't know, I don't remember, Italian or fit spell thing like that in her blood. Yeah.
Okay. We have an interesting conspiracy theory
Yeah.
comment from the audience. Bram was saying, considering the writer is thought to be a CIA agent, is there a
Yeah.
possibility that he was actually instilling feminist agenda to Thai society back in 1950s? What do you think, Kong? You're being a historian and critic.
Well, well, there are many theories. Some people said, "Oh, maybe this is one of those propaganda films." You know, but well, you look at it and it's not.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
love
tragic love
story.
story. Like no matter how you try to squeeze this conspiracy, and subtext behind it,
Uh,
but well, I think Sanchai has already said it that I think it's the it's how Adi Bestanyi is again, he's ahead of its time, and this includes the way he portrays his female characters. In most of his films, the female characters are very strong, and with Santi Veena, well, the, you can look at it this way, that okay, Veena is very forward, very, she says it when Santi is still, closed in and not admit that okay, there's something going on between them. But because he's blind, right? So she has to come forward. She has to be the eye for him. She has to be many things for him, and I think that's very touching in a way. But also at the end, when things don't turn out the way they want, right? It's a tragic ending,
yeah.
right? The monk died, and they cannot be together. Well, it for me it's quite a conservative ending because in the end, uh, Santi chooses to become a monk, and Vina is left alone, and you can see that, I don't want to say it, but you can see it as a punishment, for her behavior. I mean, that's one way to read it.
Karma.
Read
Yeah.
what happens in the film. Even though I don't want to be that heartless to her, because as I said, she's a character that everyone loves. That you watch a film and you cannot help falling in love with her, or sharing for her. So for the film to end that way, I think it's just a melodramatic device. Or at least I try to see it that way, and try to feel uh, hurt with her, to feel sad with her, to understand that okay, the only love that we remember is the love that we do not have, that we cannot achieve, right? I think that's a very melodramatic message. So yeah, I shouldn't have mentioned the Robert G. North and the CIA thing, because now you you will go on.
But now you're going to get a lot of views for your Santifina.
No, I think this is a theory that even some Thai critics or some Thai film fans have talked about when the film came out, I think, and I think we wrote something about it as well in the archive.
Yeah, it's my next project to go
Mm.
to Nixon archive and see that if he have the letter corresponds with the Robert G. Nott or Robert G. Nott wife. Actually, I
Ooh,
mean, yeah,
that's
get
nice.
back to Robert G. Nott. One sad story about him is he was passed away before the film released in Thailand. That's the thing that people don't know much. I mean, it's really tragic for him because he's the one who support the film and he want the film made thing like that. But then he just I think he got a stroke and then he passed away before the film release. So he don't see the outcome of his work. And yeah, that the thing. And also about the conspiracy conspiracy theory. There are books recently the research that the CIA used in Thailand. They use the religion as a tool to fight against communism. So if you think about that, maybe it might be like that. Robert did not intention to use the Buddhist, the religion tools. So it's gonna be like that. It can lead like that as well. But again, if we don't have the concrete
Proof.
evidence yet that
Yeah.
Robotinos is a CIA or
Yeah.
not. But yeah, probably if I have time, go back to USA.
Yeah, that would be an
Maybe we're gonna
interesting
have
research.
another chat, another talk later on.
I do have a question actually about more about the artistic part of the era. Like, I'm actually wondering, it's like really, really modern. I mean, the hairstyle and then the dress and the color and the way Fina, the body language is very, very modern. Like, but actually in reality, like not exaggerated reality as films sometimes do. Do you think in the 1950s costume architecture way of life of the villagers are like that, or is it like the simple one, or the the utopia? Who wants to answer that?
Very, very difficult to answer that. But if you look at the archive channel in YouTube, now we try to put on a lot of old footage of the at Thailand. So we can see some image or some gesture of the woman. I think about the film Yuthana and Siriporn. Maybe I will give you the link later so you can put on the comment. We can go. I mean the film. I think that film is maybe not the 1950 but maybe 1960 or something. But it's Bangkok. But you can see the activity of young people at the time, and they also like dancing. They have a woman and the guy, and the guy also got to be the monkhood, right? In that film. So it's kind of Santivina, but not the Santivina, but it's in Bangkok background. They just the couple, they live around, they wandering around Bangkok for one day before the guy go to a monk. So it's quite interesting, and you can see the behavior or the action or of the people at the time. I think that is very interesting to see that as well, to compare. Maybe it's not like, I don't know, because I'm not born at that time, but yeah. But actually, because the actor, the young girl who played Vina in the younghood, she is still alive. So we had a chance to talk with her, and she also saw the film many times. She really loved it, and she always like, oh, why I acting very, very strange way or something like that. She always say to me like that because her character is so forward thing or something like that. But she said, oh, why I acting like that? Why I acting like that? She always complained it. But yeah, that's just a funny bit of her. Yeah.
It's all Kong. Would you like to add something about it? I mean, looks like the
I think
1950s are even more modern than 1990s. I mean,
I think it's a mixture of realistic portrayal of fashion and costume at that point, because again, if you go back to look at the fashion from the 50s, I think what Veena wears in the film, you can compare it to the photos of that period. Or if you look at on our YouTube channel, I think we have another film from more or less the same period, the feature film, but that one has no English subtitle, Sethi Anatha. The title in Thai, Sethi Anatha, which means the beggar millionaire. So it's like a comedy, or the poor millionaire. And you can see that the women in that film are dressed more or less like Veena, but you have to remember that because the cinematography of Santi Veena is so dazzling, so it brings out the colors and the radiance of Veena even more. So maybe that's why she looks very fashionable and and a little bit out of place, because the story is supposed to take place in a very rural village,
Yes.
right?
She's very city girl, like, I mean, character.
Yeah, she has that body language, as you said, of a city girl. So I think it's a movie. So it's a mix
Yeah,
of realistic portrayal and an element of fantasy that you can see in every film. But when Veena is dressed up so nicely, it's for the ceremony, right? Usually, if she stays at home, it's not so much, chic and fashionable. But again, I think it's the color and the cinematography as well that brings everything out.
that's nice. Sanjay?
I think the color may be one reason uh, that they decide to, because they got award of art direction. So, and I think they are like, oh, this is the first film in color, so they put a lot of color in the film. It's
Ah,
by
Yeah,
intention for them to show the color. I thought like that as
I think
well.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the film, actually I didn't mention it, but the film was intention to be the sound on film, but unfortunately because of the inexperienced staff and things like that, the sound cannot use at all when they record it, and the sound is like that cannot use at all. So in the end they have to do dubbing. They even they do the dubbing in Tokyo.
mm,
So I had a chance to talk with the guy who dubbed as the Santi. He said that he flew to Tokyo to do the dubbing there. But I mean, we don't have any evidence on that, but just his oral talk. But now he already passed away. So yeah, I think that also really sorry that otherwise going to be the first Thai film that do the sound recording as well.
yeah. Well, we're actually at almost the end of our talk, but I'm so curious about your restoration project in Thai Film Archive. Do you know how many in totals that you finished, and how many you're working on or about to release, in the next 1 or 2 years? Do you have the statistic? Like, so Indonesian can be jealous, or at least the Indonesian restoration people can be like, what?
No, no. I mean, there are a lot of level of restoration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a level like remaster or
Uh-huh.
only like erase the scratch or thing, or only like digitized film, thing like that.
Hmm.
So now each year we have the goal like, oh, we're gonna do like 6 or 7. Oh no, we're gonna do like 10 or 20 digitized film, and then 6 or 7 to remaster, and maybe 1 or 2 for restoration. So we pick the title and think about that. And yeah, we because it take a lot of time to do restoration, actually take a lot of time and resources. So with the limited resources, we need to think about, what the film, which film that we're gonna do, things like that. And also we have to deal with the copyright as well. After Santi Vina, we also do the big restoration level like this with the movie called Pae Gao or The Scar, which is also one of the big significant Thai film. And this year we also have one title, but it's not revealed yet. It's gonna be the secret. Yeah, and but yeah, between that we have the film that we remaster or we do some color grading and things like that. Go on and go on. So each year we have that kind of thing released on the year. Yeah, but we still have a lot to do. I have to say that, I mean, with our collection, and also, but also we don't do alone. The film company, like a big film company, they also do remaster their work, like a 5-star studio. They also do the remaster with their old work, which is they do quite good thing as well. So yeah, that because the film archive, we have limited resources, we cannot do it all. So it's a part of the film industry that if the value of the old film, and they thought like old film have more value and things like, so they can participate in the restoration or remaster. So bring the film alive again. That's kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing the film alive for sure. I mean, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Yeah, really, really nice film, I think. Would you like to add something on that, Kong? Because you're usually a spoiler, so maybe you. I mean, like, would you like to share
No,
a
I
secret?
think Sanjay has said it all. That okay, I think that's one of the missions that we, like I said before, again, that we want to. We restore films not because it's and we don't restore them and just put it away, right? We want to make it alive again, and I think it's important that to connect the current generation of film goers, film audience, with the history of Thai film, which is something that has been overlooked for a long time. And not just the film goers, but also film directors or filmmakers of the current generation. I think it's important for them to be aware or to be exposed to classic Thai film or old Thai films and see how they all are uh, part of this spectrum that has continued for a long time. And I think that's how we give meaning. That's how we give meanings to films, either new film or old films. Because when we screen an old film like Santi Veena, people may laugh where it's not where they're not supposed to be laughing, right? Because it's supposed to be touching or sad. But sometimes some people laugh because they react differently to what is on screen. Uh, and I think that's fine. I think that's great, because you see that the film is alive in a different way. In the past, people cry at this scene, but today people laugh or giggle at this scene. But it means the film is still working. The film still connects to the perception of the audience, and they may go home and talk about it. And they may go home and become more interested in old films, and that will enrich the culture of film going in Thailand and everywhere. So we restore film so that it can remain alive and it remains meaningful to the audience of today.
Sanjay?
Yeah, I don't know that we should promote the project that we're gonna do together about the classic thing.
Yeah, I mean, we should. I mean, well, yeah, hopefully, finger crossed that that we can open up again by the end of June, and we have really, really like interesting lineup. Now that we talk about this DOP, the cinematographer, I'm really interested because I'm seeing several films with the same name.
Mhm.
So basically, this is not spoiler. This is promoting. Remember to subscribe to Minikinoevents. And also Thai Film Archive YouTube channel, and also follow our Instagram, Twitter, Minikinoevents, Bioskopan, Thai Film Archive. But anyway, we have actually we were planning to screen all this Thai film classic, live screening, but of course we're still going to do it anyway. So for those that would like to watch it, like in the proper, like not on the small YouTube
Yeah.
screen, you should do it again. It's really, I can imagine it's gonna be beautiful on the big screen, this Santifina. And very, very curious about your other titles, because I saw some 1940 production in the titles, and there are about 6 or 7 that you chose for us here, Bali audience, and hopefully we can share also for another part of Indonesia audience. But may I know, like, of course, Santifina is obvious, like with the achievements, we know why you choose these films. But the rest of the other 6 titles, may I know why you choose this one and call it Thai film classic as we would like to?
Yeah, each film that represent something that I mean, yeah, we have another 2 Western Yi film, Country Hotel and Dark Heaven. Country Hotel, as I told you, is the I mean, even the film is a bit long, like 2 hours something, but the film have only two scenes, and we have really good dialogue and very interesting. So I think that film that might inspire a lot of filmmaking people in that way, that oh, look back that the filmmaker do 60 years ago what they are doing, but they're really challenging themselves and they do what very difficult way and they achieve something. uh, Dark Heaven is a musical drama, and it's very lovely story. It's also love story, and I think people gonna love it because it's really like the song is really famous, the actor is really famous, and they really have really good moment. That when you show the film, every time the people will love it, the good old day atmosphere, thing like that. But this is really good thing of the Western Yi who create this atmosphere of the in the film. And I think we also have Operation Revenge. This is an action film, like a spy film, action in 1967. So we thought like, okay, we have drama, we have musical, okay, we have action. It's kind of another song that really popular song, and I think the story may be not new for you guys because it's action in 1960. It's not new anymore, but you can see that how the Thai film maker, I think they got influence from Hollywood, of course, and I think you can compare with the Indonesian filmmaker in that period who try to do action thing as well. So it's quite comparable in that sense. We also have Itui 1971, which is by Dong Bin Kanyaman. Dong Bin Kanyaman, he very successful, very popular filmmaker. He do a lot of mainstream film, and this film is one of his successful film, and I think it shows that this is the film that popular at that period. You see something we now you so see Country Hotel, the Heaven is not popular. It just have some value, artistic value thing that we show to you. But I too is like this is the film that people love to see. This is the film that very popular at the time. And also we had the Star 1977 that I already told you is a second film that we do the big restoration level. It's got premiere in Busan Classic.
Hmm.
So, and the director Cher Song Si is one of the legendary filmmaker. His work has a lot of influence with the young generation, and the film and his movie also remake and in the TV series even nowadays. So his film combined with the artistic value and also popular value, mainstream value as well. And also there are one film that in the list, The King of White Elephant. This is the oldest Thai film that's still alive, incomplete, and it's black and white, and it's a film not it's a film that was made in World War II period, and it's made produced by the legendary revolutionary Thai revolutionarist Pridi Phnom uh, it's quite interesting because he very ambitious to make a film about peace during the World War II
Okay.
era. Even the film got bad review from abroad, a thing like that. That he's
Wow.
too ambitious, a thing like that. But again, look at back the film and look at this time. You feel amazed at how he made the war film in that period and how he shot the elephant, how he shot a lot of things. So it's quite interesting in that way. Maybe the story, maybe too. I don't know. You might not connect with the story, but look at film technique at that period. It's quite amazing. So that all seven film that we shoot for Bali audience or Indonesian audience, I thought like gonna be big challenge for us. And yeah, I think from Gong said, we restore the film, we need film being to alive again, but also connect with the young generation of the filmmaker and also audience around the world. That's what we expect to. So
Yeah.
that's that's
So,
it.
so that's the lineup. But perhaps to end the talk, to make it interesting, because I would also like to hear from the audience. I mean, audience, please do type. If you have not seen the film, you see the film, and then you can type comments. I mean, in the comment section of the Santifina film in the YouTube link. Or if you've seen the film, please do type your favorite scene from Santifina film, because I'm going to ask Kong and Sanchai, and I will also share which scene is my personal favorite. Start with you, Kong. You definitely have a lot of favorite scene, but the
I already
most.
told you,
Tell
so I'm
one.
out of this. Okay, I told you it's a scene when Santi and Vina were running away from the pursuers, like
His
from
background.
men, and they are wandering in the field
Uh,
with the tall palm tree. Actually, it's the one behind
Oh, it's
me.
my background.
yeah, it's your
Yeah, it's the
background.
one behind your background and my
Yeah.
background as well.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. Yeah.
Because it's very cinematographic. It's
Yeah.
very cinematic. Sorry, it's very cinematic in the way he composes the shots and the desolation, the despair of the two lovers, and it's all very pronounced in the framing, in the composition, in the color, of course, in the acting of the two characters. Mm, yeah, I think the impact is very strong for me with that film, and it feels very modern in many ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, to elaborate more
Yeah.
on my favorite scene.
So yeah, I mean, so people like the audience, make sure you, if you've watched it, I mean, try to find the scene that Kong just mentioned. It's also a nice scene. I like it. That I like that one too. How about you,
Yeah.
Sanchai? What's your favorite
Oh, it's really difficult, but
one?
also I think Gong favorite film also very good example of the Miss Song Sang art destiny Miss Song Sang. I mean, I'm really surprised to see that. Oh, he daring to shot that way because I didn't expect that he gonna do like. I mean, in Gong background is so amazing, and that shot is like, wow, that's too amazing. I never imagined that the filmmaker gonna do that. Even nowadays, they like don't do that kind of shot thing. I also love a popular one that the couple at on the riverbank at Loy Krathong where they refer to each other and sing a song together because I think that really it's quite mixing of the communication that I mean we the audience saw them grow up at first time in that scene and then we know what the relationship between them and then we see the villain on the boat that he flirt with another woman and then we everything that combined in that scene just one scene and we know it all so I think that's really clever of the filmmaker and film script writer and also the song is so beautiful even nowadays some people still remember the writing of the song and also as I said the color and things that it's really nice theme and also it's really challenging film for us to do the resto because when they shot the film they shot in I think they shot day for night so at first, when the restoration staff do the restore, they do the color grading. They're very bright, like in the midday, because they don't know the culture. It's all like, oh no, it should be dark. But how dark is it? How be like that? So when we do
Ah,
the restoration, we have to compare and think about reference all the time. That how we gonna dark because Loi Krathong supposed to be in the night time, but if you put in very dark, you cannot see the color you cannot see anything. So this is challenging. So the outcome when you see in the film, I don't know if this like original or not, but this is the best outcome that we can do at a time when we do restoration. So that's why I think this scene is my favorite. A lot of meaning in that scene, have a lot of happening in that scene. Yeah.
well, an audience, Olivia, sharing her favorite scene, the first kiss under the tree.
Yeah, you see, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the symbolic of the flute.
Yeah. That
And
one.
people in Scala at that they laughing a lot because I didn't expect I didn't see that until they're laughing. Why they laughing? Oh, the flute. I said, oh, Vina, she's so daring to do
Yeah,
that.
naughty girl. And also, Olivia is saying that also she likes the first time Santi gained sight, and then he went to the city outside cave. The contrast with the darkness in the cave versus the brightness. Yeah, that's what her favorite scenes.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, I guess my favorite scene will be like towards the end when Santi and Fina I think first met again, and Fina came to him and say, like, I still love you. I was like,
yeah.
oh, like for the whole almost 2 hours, you know that Santi is no, you know that Fina is a strong woman, but then to have the courage to come up and say I still love you, and that's just like
Yeah.
really, I didn't expect that coming from 1954 film. So I was like, for me that was one, it's really a statement. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Vina is so unique character for me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like her character as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, now we're almost, exactly 86 minutes. Very good with the timing. Well, thank you very much, Sanjay and Kong. Thank you for your time. And definitely we enjoy the film and enjoy the talk. So I think we're also still going to upload this as like a recorded talk of Santifina. And hopefully, yeah, you can have more of this session with other cities or other countries. It's a really good way of promoting the film and to keep it alive. And yeah, thank you for making it public so it's accessible.
Thank you, Sika,
Yeah,
as well. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Jika.
yeah.
to
Okay,
give
so with
to the
this, we're gonna wrap up, and don't forget to subscribe, like and subscribe to to our channels, Minikino Events, Bioskopan, and Thai Film Archive. Yeah, and take care. And hopefully, we can screen Santifina on big screen proper.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Okay, thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
See you.